Almohadilla, chapter 1 te tonan persant te perfect facade. In te sultri summer of 1864, New Orleans med wit a vibrancitat cloaked manageable turmoil. Te air wastic wit te scent of magnolia, intermingling with distant just notes from street corners. Among te bustling Negro odds, on a cold fin te shadow of te Boudreaux family, residing in a modest yet distinguished o melocated just of Chartres Street. Tote casual observer, te were a typical creole family, living lifetoids fugest, se mingli woven into te very fabric of this lively city. Te head of the family, Remy Boudreaux, was a local merchant known for his shrewd dealings and convivial spirit. His wife Camille was revered for her beauty and hospitality, often hosting soirees that attracted the town's elite. Their three children Marcel, Elise and young Henry were spirited, charming children contributing to the allure of their household. Beyond their well-documented social activities, the Boudreaux family appeared to embody the very definition of success. Yet for all their exterior charm, ominous clothes threatened to overshadow this picturesque life. Henry the young guest was often found lingering in the shadows, displaying odd traits that set him apart from his more boisterous siblings. Strangely, the family had adopted a peculiar guardian, a large black dog named Gaston, who instilled unease among the neighborhood children. The dog was strong and dark, often seen sitting silently by the front door, its piercing eyes seemingly scanning as you approached. People would speak in whispers about that dog, recalled Madame Rousseau, an old neighbor with a penchant for storytelling. They would say he understood things that should not be spoken of. It was as if he stood watch not only over the door but perhaps something even darker. In the corners of the Boudreaux home, flickering candlelight often revealed secrets untold, a family walking the line between mundane existence and hidden horrors. The neighbors were oblivious, caught in the web of their own lives, but the tension simmering beneath the surface was palpable, waiting for an event to ignite the truth behind their innocent facade. As we delve deeper into the Boudreaux' existence, we must question what lurks behind their well-crafted smiles. What concealed terror does Gaston protect? Almohadilla, chapter 2 te cracks appear. As the summer progressed, the Boudreaux family continued to entertain their social circle, yet the atmosphere within their home began to shift. Marcel and Elise, once captivated by their father's charisma, started to notice the uneasy silence that hung over their family meals. They often exchanged furtive glances, sensing that something was doubly wrong, but the intrusion of concern felt taboo against the demands of family loyalty. It was during a particularly festive soirée that the unsettling nature of the family's life began to unravel publicly. The evening grew heavy with laughter and chatter, but the Boudreaux children were drawn away to the damp, cold basement beneath the house, seeking refuge from the suffocating warmth. As they descended the creaky wooden stairs, the air thickened with an odd smell, something faintly akin to decay. Have you ever wondered what's down there? Marcel whispered to Elise, his voice barely a pined breath. I'm not sure where supposed to know, she replied, her eyes widening in curiosity and fear. As they peered into the dimly lit corners of the basement, they found remnants of possessions discarded carelessly, broken toys, tattered garments, and a small, rusted chest. Unbeknownst to them, their innocent explorations were attracting more than just their curiosity. Whispers began circulating among their friends in the neighborhood about the Boudreaux children's odd behavior and their unexplained absence from social gatherings. The local school teacher, Miss Dupont, initially attributed their withdrawn tendencies to seasonal changes, yet she couldn't shake the disquieting intuition nagging at her mind. It was hard to ignore the feeling that they were harboring a secret. Henry especially, she sighed, her voice catching. He often stared off into the distance, as if he was listening to voices that couldn't be heard. Reports of rumors brewing within the community only intensified as the invitations to the Boudreaux soirées began to dwindle. Neighbors could sense that the lavish life they once celebrated was hiding shadows too deep to ignore. Little did they know, the family's carefully guarded secrets were merely beginning to unravel, opening the door to a darker fate that had lingered just beneath the surface for far too long. Almohadilla, chapter 3 the breaking point. The tension reached its zenith when a fateful night in late August shattered the fragile peace. A storm swept through New Orleans, darkening the sky and creating a cacophony of howling winds and torrential rain. It was during this tempest that the neighborhood was awakened by frantic screams echoing through the night. Gaston te family dog, ad escaped te confines of te ouse, creating a scene are trending in its intensity. Is barks fillet te air, a warning tat resonated against te thundering rain. Negbors bolted from their homes, eyes with a wit fear curiosity and confusion. When te tons people arrived at te Boudreaux doorstep, an unsettling scene awaited them. Camilles todo outside, dress so acet tote bone, we epping uncontrollably. Scream se choed a Montenegbors, a frantic cal for elpa checlunto Gaston, o appeared agitated and protective. Please. Sommetting a pened to Henry, she cried her voice breaking, es gone. Aste tons folk sifted through te chaos, Marcel and Elises te pedo outside, their faces gaunt and pale. They reluctantly admitted that Henry had taken off, wandering out into the storm alone, chasing after shadows. The storm raged on, yet search parties formed, moving quickly through the streets drenched in rain and fear. Yet beneath the frantic search for the young boy, an undeniable question haunted the air. What had the family been concealing inside their basement? What truly lurked behind the door guarded by Gaston? The relentless efforts leading up to the break yielded no trace of Henry. The desperation morphed into panic, and the storm's fury became a metaphor for the emotional turmoil enveloping the town. The Boudreaux family, once the center of social vibrancy, knows to all that the perilous precipice of disaster, their careful facade shattering under the weight of collective grief and inquiry. In the art of sorrow lie an unspoken truth poised to emerge, readito redefine the very essence of their lives, darkening the air even further. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 4 te truth uncovered. Dice passed in te ose fillet wit, an oppressive silence that nestled itself deeply in the corners of the Boudreaux residence. The community began to grapple with the horror of sudden loss and the unraveling sense of normalcy. It was only when intense scrutiny turned toward the family that the Perro horrors truly emerged. Authorities called into investigate found themselves probing into Gaston's behavior. The dog seemed entranced by the remnants of Henry's disappearance, its hostile growls echoing through the neighborhood, earning it as much fear as adoration. But the dog would lead investigators to more than just clues, would push them toward the truth that had festered below the surface. Police Chief Dupre immersed himself in the family's history, tracing their lineage and unearthing generational secrets that would have remained buried at tragedy not struck. Found whispers of past tragedies linked to the family, a series of inexplicable disappearances, entities cloaked in tales of occult practices, described via frightening older neighbor, Madame Lavigne. They spoke of curses and dark rituals in the Boudreaux family, things that were best left alone. But the most revealing truth emerged when a local child, curious and compelled, stumbled upon the basement during a daring adventure. What they discovered were remnants of Henry's belongings, scattered among fantastical items hidden box, animal bones, and drawings depicting fearful symbols. His account sent shockwaves through the community, igniting whispers among the townsfolk. When a search of the basement was executed, it unveiled a myriad of inexplicable artifacts along with the rusted chest. Peering inside, investigators found not only Henry's belongings but an assortment of strange items tied to questionable practices, a chilling reflection of the world Edith and Eros band had navigated. The unfolding stories of the basement began to expose a family tangled in paranoia, entrenched in secrecy, overshadowed by something far more sinister than outsiders had ever imagined. With a very new revelation, a broader narrative emerged about the Boudreaux family psyche that transcended traditional boundaries of grief, pushing the community to face the horrors of their own blind trust. Questions loomed large, how deep did the darkness go? And would exposing the truth finale bring closure to the community reeling from the shadows of cruelty? Almohadilla, 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 chapter 5 The Ride and Percent Reckoning. The grim reality of what had been concealed came to aid as the townspeople gathered on a fateful evening, sparked by an intense revelation of the truth. Fueled by fear and desperate to reclaim the safety of their community, they converged in front of the Boudreaux residence, demanding justice. Authorities erected barricades, anticipating violence stemming from pent-up emotions. Chief Dupre stood firm, addressing the anxious crowd. We are going inside, declared his voice steady, to uncover this horror once and for all. Under the shadows of impending night, they swung open the door, both a literal and metaphorical entry into the abyss hidden within. The air grew heavy with dread as officers descended the steps into the basement, now burdened with the revelations of the Boudreaux family's twisted fate. Gaston's growls echoed like clockwork, building anxiety until officers reached for long awaited answers. The Rome was in the eda treasure trove of dark revelations, disclosing auror that the community called scarcely fathom. In the corner lie Henry's lifeless form, cloaked beneath remnants of offerings and gaudy symbols conceived in confounding desperation. The once vibrant community knows to odd frozen in horror, the ars cascading down faces as disbelief to oak road. The truth shattered their entire existence. What remnant of normalcy existed was irrevocably obliterated by the knows acts of a familian's nared in their delusions. With Gaston no shackled, ese med to relent, as to surrendering the narrative of sorrow tatum in the air. The Boudreaux family, once revered and respected, faced a grim reckoning. They had become the symbols of darkness unwoven from the delicate threads of their once adored lives. With the investigation closing in, the house was marked for demolition, a cathartic gesture to exorcise the pain and malevolence that had overtaken the community. The pendulum of justice sunste adili, but with it, a chi remained, a painful testament to the indescribable burden the residents no bore collectively. Almohadilla, chapter 6 Legacy and Percent Reflection. In the months that followed, the pain of loss shifted, evolving into a collective desire for healing. The Boudreaux family's history unfolded like the slow turning of a haunted page, leading the community toward fundamental truths rooted in awareness and empathy. Communities raging to for support became a fortress against future darkness, whatever form it might take. Memorials erected in honor of Henry reflected the community's resilience, embracing the child was a light at being extinguished far too soon. Flowers adorned the park where lauter used to hecho, a solemn reminder that innocence had been tarnished by cruelty. As time wore on, the town became a refuge for discussions about safeguarding families from hidden terrors that could lurk behind even the most charming facades. The tragedy incited a movement to educate and empower communities, ensuring that the tragedies of the past would not repeat in silence. In those solemn gatherings, closure gradually seeped into the lives of those affected. The voices of survivors, once silenced by fear, began to reclaim their narratives. As one resident articulated, we learned that fairness must rise above brutality, only in understanding do we find true strength. As dawn crested over the town, illuminating those adjoed ground, it served as a reminder that darkness can be confronted, dismantled, and ultimately triumph may be found amid despair. Because what lingers from the ashes is fortified by the courage to face truths long hidden, reminding us that the journey of healing begins anew with a very shared story spoken aloud. Almohadilla, chapter 7 The Echoes of the Past. Years later, the chilling echoes of the Boudreaux family saga still reverberated through the streets of New Orleans. The community slowly rebuilt the remnants of their collective trauma, but the shadow of that dark chapter lingered, altering the very fabric of their lives. What had once been a place of celebration had transformed into a symbol of vigilance, a reminder that evil can exist under the most innocuous surface. Among the residents was Marcel, now a man shaped by the harrowing events of his childhood. After the tragedy, he had devoted himself to social work, focusing on providing support for families who were double wrestling with hidden issues. His experiences had ignited a fire within him a desire to be a beacon of hope for others traversing the pitfalls of anxiety, depression, and familial strife. He grew up in the aftermath of silence, stated during an interview he conducted with him last fall. He wanted to ensure that other kids don't have to live in the shadows the way Henry did. We must talk, conversations can save lives. Elise too had dedicated herself to advocacy, working tirelessly in schools to establish programs focused on mental health awareness. There were times he thought we might not make it out of that darkness, but we did. And now we stand as a community on the brink of change. Their unwavering commitment led to a series of town-age meetings, where parents, teachers, and community leaders gathered in an effort to foster an environment of openness and empathy. The discussions always circled back to the importance of vigilance, reminding everyone of the subtleties that can mask sinister realities. We are our brothers keeper, MRS. Rousseau spoke passionately at one such gathering. It takes a hatch and the very one of us to watch for the dark corners that may envelop those around us. Ignorance is dangerous. As new generations emerged, the narrative of the Boudreaux family provided crucial context to the importance of vigilance, ever present in discussions about children's safety. Awareness campagnsburgeoned, boithing tened for strong community tread statlistened forte signs of distress among families. The lessons learned became woven through the very culture of the town. However, the journey of ealing was neither smooth nor linear. The anniversaries of Henry's disappearance brought about collective feelings of sadness, sparking dutiful ceremonies filled with candlelit vigils and tributes. During one such gathering, Marcel felt a deep yearning. He addressed the crowd with a flickering flame, we do not merely remember the darkness, when nourished opetat no child we sleep into the shadows again. The desire to honor Henry became ingrained in their community events, and not just as a somber remembrance. They are made to celebrate life, joy, and resilience, a vibrant celebration of being able to breathe openly intellect. When as the memories of that horrifying time persisted in the corners of their minds, the community embraced a commitment to vigilance and compassion, honoring those lost by nurturing an environment where darkness could never thrive again. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 8 new beginnings. As the years turned into decades, the scars from the Boudreaux tragedy began to fade, transformed instead into a rich tapestry of growth and renewal. The spectral presence of Henry, though daunting, became a catalyst for profound change rather than a spectre of silence. Marcel and Elise had long since planted roots in their community, marging and raising families of their own. Their children thrived in an environment that differed vastly from the one they had known their lives touched by a legacy that had become a guiding light. During a community festival celebrating local arts, Marcel found himself watching his daughter, a bright and spirited child dancing freely amidst laughter. The oppressive weight of his childhood was countered by the joy witnessed, the rhythm of life pulsing on, unencumbered by the past. A couldn't help but reflect on how far they had come as a community. What had been a place overshadowed by sorrow had flourished into a space of connection, understanding, and vigilance, each smile and shared story serving as a salve for the wounds they had endured. It feels like a breaking chains, a shared with a fellow parent, smiles exchanged littered with ope, rising children in a world like it is feels so liberating. We've learned to listen, to be present in ways that matter. However, beneath the festivities, Marcel remained vigilant. The approach of sorrow, though muted, would always be a part of him. He often visited the memorial for Henry in the park, where an elegant iron bench bore the child's name. Sitting there, he felt enveloped by bittersweet memories, a reminder of both loss and purpose. Years of communal effort had led to the protection of the new generation. Schools implemented comprehensive mental health programs, while local support groups provided safe havens for those grappling with their crises. Indigenous practices of listening circles emerged, celebrating shared experiences and fostering a culture of understanding. In time, the annual remembrance for Henry transformed as well, evolving into a day of community service. Families volunteered to teach arts and crafts, host picnics, and gather stories from each other, al while keeping Henry's spirit alive. Today, we celebrate our triumphs, Elise declared during a particular event, and we promise to stand together against the shadows that threaten to return. With that, the whispers of the past no longer reverberated as cries for help but carried threads of hope, we having a narrative that wound through the lives interwoven within the community. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 9 Reflections and Resilience. As we reflect back on this transformative journey, it becomes clear. The Boudreaux story is more than just a tale of horror. It represents the resilience found within a community steeped in shared trials. The shadows that once enveloped Dream Point gradually faded under the warm glow of understanding and empathy. The legacy of Henry Boudreaux transcended the tragedies of his loss. His existence became a powerful symbol of change. Each interaction, each heartfelt conversation cultivated an atmosphere of safety a garden tended with the utmost care. You start to realize, Marcel shared in an interview much later in life, that the darkness can only thrive where silence exists. We've learned that by speaking up, by being vigilant, we transform fear into action. With a very candle lit at the memorial, a very conversation held during community events, Henry's story was revitalized, not as purely a narrative of loss but as an enduring testament of resistance against ignorance and pain. His memory fueled a flame that illuminated the path towards unyielding strength, forever reminding the community of the value of awareness. In the heart of New Orleans, where shadows once loomed, a spirit of triumph began to rise. Families rejuvenated their relationships, fortified by understanding, to shield their loved ones from the darkness that once threatened to engulf them. Te communal fabrik emerget brigter, interwoven with the laughter of children, the whispers of love, and a promise, a sacred bond formed in the fires of adversity. As well I down these reflections, remember this universal truth. A community aware engaged and actively listening can cultivate the most profound transformations. It always begins with the courage to confront the shadows and to breathe light into the deepest corners of our lives. Because what is in the depths of silence can become a beacon of hope for generations to come. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 10 The generational shift. The years continued to flow, each season dropping the Negro in new colors of life and commemorating resilience. As Marcel and Elise welcomed their own children into the world, children forever marked by the legacy of their tragic past, they fostered environments of safety and curiosity. Discussions of mental health and community vigilance became commonplace at family dinner tables, resonating through generations. As their children grew, community initiatives expanded into schools, becoming foundational aspects of education. Classes focusing on empathy, mental health awareness, and the importance of open dialogues reshaped the youth's perspective on hardship and trauma. The students learned to listen, to advocate, and to empower others, turning lessons learned from the Boudreaux tragedy into heartfelt, proactive endeavors. It's our responsibility, Elise remarked during a parent-teacher meeting, her eyes bright with passion. We must nurture understanding in our children. Can lead his power and together we can protect each other from the darkness. The conversations marked a significant shift in the community's approach to both prevention and healing. Workshops turned into training sessions, where experts instructed parents and children alike on recognizing warning signs of distress, ensuring that no one remained isolated amidst their struggles. Beyond the wise of their community, the story of Henry Boudreaux continued to echo. Documentaries and articles circled through various media outlets, shining a light on the small community that emerged from tragedy not as victims, but as warriors of resilience. Through these shared narratives, the Boudreaux name transformed into a symbol of hope. Events honoring Henry grew, drawing people from near and far, each person wanting to be part of the legacy of change that resonated outwards from that once tragic basement. Marcel noted, every person who shows up is a testament that darkness can be overcome. Our tone stands as proof that we've chosen a different path. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 11, An unexpected visitor. It was during one of these commemorative events that an unexpected visitor arrived, a distant relative of the Boudreaux family, an elderly woman named Genevieve, who claimed to carry the weight of unseen burdens. She had spent years away from New Orleans, seeking solace in her homeland, only to return and confront the choice of her family's past. When she stepped into the gathering, her presence radiated uncertainty, mingling with the laughter and festivity of the day. Marcel and Elise welcomed her with open arms and heard to hear her stories. Genevieve carried tales from decades past, bruised with nostalgia and shadowed by regret. When he knew Henry, he was curious and bright, she recounted on evening, her voice trembling slightly, but our family were very different. Our sins ran deep, hidden beneath the playful surface of our lives. He thought he had escaped it, that he called erase those patterns. But it seems like shadows they always linger. Genevieve's honesty stirred a potent mix of emotions among the guests. Everyone listened intently, bearing witness to the interwoven legacy of anguish and hope, recaging how broken threads can lead to unexpected connections. Our name carried not only pain, but the potential for redemption, Marcel reflected. What you have gone through may have shaped us, but so too has the courage to rewrite our story together. The ensuing discussions unveiled even deeper conversations about the heritage of family, emphasizing accountability and the responsibilities that fall within each generation. Genevieve's return became a symbol of healing, where past pains clashed with current aspirations, fostering a narrative that celebrated the act of rewriting on his legacy. By embracing the stories of those who came before, the present generation fortified a commitment to break cycles of trauma, replacing them with cycles of kindness, understanding, and vigilance. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 12 Kaleidoscope of Change. The years melted into a complex tapestry of existence, thriving in a kaleidoscope of vibrant community practices. Seasons changed, and so too did the energy pulsating through the streets of New Orleans. The lessons learned had become a required curriculum woven into the town's identity, elevating the stories of resilience beyond remembrance to action. Une bright spring afternoon, te community gathered for their annual festival, a celebration aptly named Resilience Day. Children played games, families set up boats featuring crafts and bucket goods, and music wafted through the air, connecting everyone in a joyous embrace of unity. Marcel looked around, feeling a sway of gratitude. It felt alive, spoke softly to Elise, people are allowing sharing. Teire ere because they understand the value of connection. In the end, that collective spirit represented a breakthrough, a pronounced victory against the darkness that once enveloped their lives. As families engaged in conversations about the past, new boundaries were formed that celebrated unity over isolation. During the event, a local artist unveiled a new mural depicting the community's journey from sorrow to hope. It illustrated Henry logging, surrounded by vibrant colors radiating outward, representing the strength gained from acknowledging pain while actively fostering love and compassion. The artwork ignited applause, a collective acknowledgement of their ongoing legacy of perseverance. That is our past, present and future, Marcel said, his voice breaking slightly with emotion. Henry's laughter guided us out of the shadows. As the sunset over the horizon, the skies were alive with waves of pink and gold, a reminder of life's duality, where joy can rise from sorrow. The community celebrated their complexities, forging connections that would persist beyond adversity. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 13, a new chapter. Eventually, visions of the future flourished, blossoming with the realization that they had created, something truly transformative. Marcel and Elise's children grew into compassionate adults, motivated by an understanding of the past yet untethered from its chains. They carried with them the stories they had learned, ready to begin their own chapters in life. These young adults spearheaded initiatives beyond their own, advocating for mental and health awareness and family support, not only within New Orleans but in neighboring communities as well. The legacy initiated in the Boudreaux household continued to ripple outward, encouraging discussions that transcended borders. During a pivotal gathering, a coalition was formed, an alliance of community leaders uniting to create broader support systems, expanding their efforts to encompass schools, mental health facilities, and initiatives advocating for vulnerable families. What began as our fight has now become a movement, Marcel noted during one of their meetings. We owe it to future generations to ensure they always have a voice. With each passing day, the community affirmed that they had transcended their pain, evolving into a beacon of strength and compassion. They witnessed how conversations ignited change, echoing the lessons of their past while ensuring that no dark shadow could ever revisit their lives again. As new projects emerged and ambitions soared, the stories of a choice transformed into melodies celebrating the victory of resilience over despair. The promise of continued vigilance passed from parent to child, a solemn vow that the community would never return to silence or complacency. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 14 Reflections in the Future. In a poignant moment during the festival, Marcel stood in front of the now prominent mural, the sun setting softly against the painted imagery. Surrounded by friends, family, and community members, he felt the gripping bond that had been formed among them all. He recognized that their journey had created a legacy that resonated far beyond their community. It's not just about us anymore, he whispered as he took a step back to observe the mural's beauty. It's about ensuring this never happens again and nurturing a culture of understanding. A fellow resident approached, his eyes glistening with gratitude. Yo vedone something incredible. The children won't suffer the way we did. Marcel nodded, knowing that a very story had purpose. The legacies immortalized in the mural became emblematic of hope intersecting with reality, embodying the very essence of community, a realization that beyond a very loss, life continues in profound ways. As the festival drew to a close, families exchanged hugs, laughter mingling with the promise of new beginnings, encapsulating the spirit of unity. Together they would face the future, not just resilient in the wake of pain, but richer in purpose, shaped by the courageous journey they had forged from shadows into light. In the heart of New Orleans, where a choice became whispers of wisdom, they had learned that hidden horrors could be transformed into strength, providing a bright beacon for generations to come. Because in the end, as Marcel often reminded those who would listen, what we build together can illuminate the darkest roads, an enduring legacy of love that never dims. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 15 a new dawn. As the sun rose each day over New Orleans, the city breathed easy, still carrying the choice of its past but embracing the vibrancy of its future. The efforts of Marcel, Elise, ante community flourisheth, extending beyond the borders of their town, igniting similar conversations in neighboring areas burdened by silent suffering. Community members began organizing outreach programs, sharing resources, and hosting workshops that encouraged families to engage in open dialogues about trauma, mental health, and the importance of community support. It was a movement driven by resilience, vulnerability, and a shared mission to foster well-being for all. During one particularly memorable workshop, Marcel shared a story that captivated the audience. When he was a child, he learned about light in the darkness through our shared pain. Today, let us transform the collective grief we carry into a source of healing. It is a choice we make, not just for ourselves, but for those who come after us. Elise nodded, adding, the truth is we are not only guardians of our own lives but also custodians for each other. The work we do has the power to save lives, to ensure that no child feels lost or alone as we once did. The momentum of their efforts bore fruit, a network of towns united in protecting their citizens, increasingly adhered to learn from the scars of their past. Mental health became a pivotal part of the discussion in political platforms, driving changes in legislation that sought to secure funding for mental health programs in schools, making support accessible for families struggling with hidden issues. As conversations gradually spread across the state, it was evident that change was at hand. Like the ripples of water disturbed via stone, the impact was undeniable, generating waves of awareness that translated into action. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 16, Strength in Unity. Years passed, bringing stability and hope, as the growing recognition of mental health awareness carved new pathways for families. The community in New Orleans learned that healing blooms must be brandly amid unity. Marcel and Elise's children, now young adults, played active roles in this transformative environment. They had been educated to recognize the value of connection, not only among friends and family but also within larger circles of influence. On a such spring day, the young adults organized a concert to raise funds for local mental health initiatives, a celebration of collaboration that drew the community together. The event overflowed with energy, laughter, and music, a quintessential representation of their closing past, opening doors to shared futures. Underneath the bright lights, activities flourished. Local artists collaborated to create pieces that encapsulated hope and resilience, while efforts tais featured family recipes passed down through generations. With the time festivities reached crescendo, Marcel and Elise felt immense gratitude weighing within them a powerful testament to the journey that had shaped their lives. As the music played loud and voices intertwined, Marcel took a moment to contemplate how much they had achieved. The seeds of their past bore vibrant fruit. Families felt free to discuss challenges without fear, fostering an environment where they shared experiences rather than suffering in silence. You can know you said to think our story was a burden, a confided to Elise amidst the jubilant chaos. But now he say it as a blessing, a chance to grow and learn together. Elise smiled, her eyes gleaming with warmth, and it reminds us of the power of hope, Marcel. Together we have forged not just a legacy but a lifeline for the future. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 17 Interconnected Legacy. As the years progressed, the bonds forged by shared experiences began to intertwine with legacies from the families around them. In the heart of New Orleans, where heritage and history danced in a rhythm with the living pulse of the community, Marcel and Elise found themselves part of a fabric woven from countless stories of resilience. Each year, the festival celebrating resilience became a cherished tradition. A time when citizens gathered not only to honor the memory of a lost child but to embrace the lives transformed by love and unity. Parents would share how these conversations shaped their children's understanding of compassion, urging them to become the advocates of their peers. Under the warm glow of lanterns, Marcel and Elise stood at the heart of the gathering, immersing themselves in the vibrant atmosphere as laughter rang through the streets. The mural that depicted Henry had become the center of attention. New layers of color and imagery continuously evolved alongside the town's journey. It feels like a living entity, Elise remarked with her voice low. The mural adapts just like us. Each brushstroke is a story shared, a reminder of our growth. Marcel nodded, watching as communities from different parts of Louisiana came together. Families mingled, exchanging laughter and encouragement, a celebration of human connection through adversity. De strains of musik wove troug te air, resonating de epli witin teire arts, amplifying te collective strength tat defined tem. Aste dai closed fireworks lit te ski, reflecting vibrant colors across te faces of tose gatered. A moment of silence wased over te crowd, a join everjone to connect with bot ter grief and gratitude. Marcel and Elise felt the weight of their journey, a poignant acknowledgement of what had transpired. Tojeter we honor te past, Marcel finagi spoke, looking out at te sea of familiar faces, but we also celebrate te triumphs webe forhead through connection. Each year te festival evolved, blossoming into a beacon of hope for communities searching for solace. New Orleans had transformed, not simply recovering from loss, but flourishing, enriched by te collaborative spirit born from tragedy. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 18 te legacy continues. A seasons turned, Marcel and Elise devoted themselves to nurturing the next generation, instilling values that would empower young voices to rise and advocate for themselves and others. Their children began to follow in their footsteps, embarking on new projects aimed at expanding outreach and education. All students initiated programs that focused on peer mentoring, encouraging conversations about mental health in an approachable, relatable manner, breaking down barriers that often left others in silence. Their efforts cultivated a spirit of activism, illustrating the importance of standing together far beyond the ways of their own community. I want to be Someone kids can talk to, shared Bella, Marcel's daughter, during one of the training sessions she led. We have to be open and ready to listen, to help even one person makes all the difference. Through outreach programs, personal stories emerged, forging connections that ignited change. Young activists penned articles and created videos, channeling their experiences into content meant to educate others about the impact of mental health and the significance of communal support. Marcel watched with pride as the fire and Elise a dignited continued to burn brightly, now fueled by the energy and passion of a new generation. A very story shared, a very challenge facet became threads woven into their expanding narrative, echoing Henry's name in ways that signified ongoing resilience. As the years folded in on themselves, the fabric of community grew richer, coloring the landscape of New Orleans, a mosaic depicting faces and stories aligning for a powerful movement cascading beyond their borders. The very interaction fostered an undeniable truth, the past had created a robust present filled with purpose. Through collective compassion, the town had crafted more than just a legacy, they had built a sanctuary of hope where shadows were vanished and darkness could never thrive again. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 19 The power of tose welose. Years progressed and on the eve of Henry's birthday, the community arrived for their annual gathering, a celebration tinged with both a sense of solemn remembrance and heightened joy. The air was thick with nostalgia and the warm embrace of connection, as lauter filled the spaces once burdened by sorrow. As they gathered around the mural, illuminated by strings of fiery lights, Marcel took a moment to reflect. He understood that morning Henry had forever altered the trajectory of their lives. His absence now served as both a profound reminder and a force of transformation. Tonight, we not only remember a life cut short but also honor how we carved meaning from loss, Marcel spoke to the gathered crowd. Henry taught us that a very story woven into this community deserves to be told, and the very life, no matter how briefly lived, carries a legacy far greater than we can imagine. His words echoed in the hearts of those present, resonating deeply as everyone shared tales of resilience, of love cultivated amid adversity. Stories flowed, revealing how interconnected their journeys had become each individual, shining a light upon the path of hope. As the night grew deeper, a single candle was lit passed unto hand, symbolizing their collective promise to advocate for truth and understanding. This unifying moment double wrapped everyone in a sacred bond of commitment to prevent future suffering and ensure that no child would walk the dark path alone. The festival, rich in memories and profound lessons, came to encapsulate not only what had been lost but what lay ahead, potential waiting patiently to be nurtured and celebrated. In that moment of collective remembrance, Marcel realized that they had become more than a community, they had emerged as guardians of hope, luminous in the face of darkness, forever dedicated to healing the wounds that had once been too painful to bear. For within a very shared smile lies the spirit of those lost, echoing the natural truth. It is through our compassion for one another that we revive the warmth lighted by those we carry in our hearts. And it is in this enduring legacy, born from shadows yet now bursting with color, tat the city of New Orleans would forever find its strength a testament tat echo stroke time and persists with every generation. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 20 Reflections of Growth. As the years unfolded, the vibrancy of New Orleans was matched only by the unwavering spirit of its residents. The annual celebration had transformed into a grand festival that now attracted neighboring towns, an event where stories of resilience traveled beyond the borders defined by geography. Marcel and Elise, now seasoned advocates, found themselves at the forefront of discussions about mental health and community cohesion. Their journey had shaped the cityscape, intertwining their own stories with those of countless individuals who had stepped forward to reclaim their narratives. Every year, it feels like we were building something greater, Elise shared during a planning meeting for the next festival. It's about more than just remembering, it's about creating a culture of kindness and vigilance. Marcel nodded in agreement, WBC notes conversations have impacted lives. It's an empowering cycle, we share the burden, we invite healing, and we invite others to join us. The festival grew into a multifaceted gathering featuring art installations, workshops, and performances aimed at educating and uplifting. Families returned year after year, each new edition resonating with tales of shared struggles transformed into triumphs. Amidst the laughter and music, they ensured that spaces were designated for reflection, the med corners where individuals could share their stories, facilitating genuine encounters. It was here that Marcel often found solace, listening to the profound realizations that emerged from shared narratives. Listening feels like a balm for both parties, remarked to Elise on evening as they prepared for the festival. These moments of authenticity build bridges, they are essential in overcoming the invisible barriers that often separate us. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 21 A ripple effect. As the festival became widely recognized, the momentum created by the community's efforts rippled outward, inspiring similar events statewide. Other towns reached out to Marcel and Elise, eager to implement initiatives that would promote open dialogue and encourage kindness within their own communities. The couple embarked on speaking engagements, sharing their story, the evolution of their community, and the significance of active listening, as key set the med essential in combating loneliness and despair. You have to start small, Elise advised attendees at a workshop. Encourage your neighbors to talk and create environments where vulnerability is welcomed. No one should feel alone in their struggles. Through these efforts, they began to observe a transformation not only in individuals but within entire communities. Towns developed support systems, and mental health resources became a structured part of everyday life, symbolizing a shift in how people approached each other less as strangers and more as a collective. On a day, Marcel received a heartfelt letter from a community leader in a neighboring town that illustrated the far-reaching effects of the initiatives. We've implemented a community nicked much like yours, and we can't believe the positive response, it read. People are talking, sharing, and healing together. Thank you for paving the way. Strengthened by the knowledge that their struggles had inspired others, Marcel and Elise felt refreshed in their commitment to continue their advocacy. Their story, the story of the Boudreaux family, was no longer bound within the wise of a singular tragedy. It had evolved into a beacon of hope that transcended geographical limits. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 22, New Generations Rising. As they moved further into their journey, Marcel and Elise turned their attention to nurturing a new generation of leaders, young people eager to take up the mantle of compassion and advocacy. Their children had grown into remarkable individuals, each carving their paths well imbued with a deep sense of purpose. Bella and their peers began hosting workshops themselves, weaving technology and creativity into their initiatives. They used social media to spread awareness, creating engaging content that addressed mental health and encouraged discussions among their generation. It's our turn to be voices, Bella stated at a youth forum confidence palpable. We can break the stigmas that have held back so many, sharing our experiences to help others feel less isolated. Through innovative projects, they established platforms that normalized conversations around mental health in schools, connecting students to counselors and peer support networks. This fresh wave of advocacy invigorated the community, further embedding the principles of understanding and compassion into the atmosphere. Marcel and Elise marveled at how the seeds of their past had blossomed into a garden rich with diversity and strength. The community was no a collective of people, young and old, who recognized the power of connection, embracing the stories that lingered in the shadows and illuminating pathways towards a future fueled by empathy. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 23 A Tapestry of Unity. The evolution of the community reverberated through the streets of New Orleans, where stories intertwined like threads weaving together a grand tapestry, a unified narrative colored by shared experiences. The upcoming festival promised to be the largest yet, with townsfolk welcoming visitors from all corners of Louisiana, united for the shared purpose of acknowledging their past and celebrating their resilience. There was an air of excitement that seemed to pulse through the city, as hustle and bustle filled shops and restaurants, a privilege born from overcoming the darkness. As Marcel and Elise prepared for the festival, they reflected on how far they had journeyed. Each dialogue, each gathering, had fostered strength in unity, a reminder that all incomes when hearts connect. As they assembled the final details for the event, they felt the undercurrents of history reminding them how deeply interwoven their lives had become. On the day of the festival, a palpable energy surged through the streets as families and friends arrived, thrones reveling in the warmth of community spirit. Marcel and Elise could feel the celebration flowing through them, extending beyond the present into the legacy they had instilled. They looked around, silently acknowledging the transformations that had blossomed before their eyes. The laughter surrounding them was a beautiful testament to the possibilities that arose from vulnerability, an affirmation that love and understanding could conquer even the deepest tragedies. Almohadilla, 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 chapter 24 A Lasting Legacy. As dusk fell, casting golden waves across the festival, Marcel stepped up to address the crowd, a sea of familiar faces and shared memories. He felt the weight of their collective journey settle comfortably on his shoulders, an honor to stand before them. Tonight we gather not just in memory of a child, but in celebration of countless lives, a vegan, emotions rising in his throat. This festival is a reflection of our strength and our commitment to ensuring that none walks alone. The crowd erupted in applause, their unity resonating deeply within the fabric of their community. It's a reminder that every story matters, and like the threads of this tapestry, our lives are interconnected. He continued, scanning the faces illuminated by the twinkling lights. Let us continue to nurture these bonds, openly share our stories, and safeguard those who might struggle in silence. As fireworks lit the night sky, each crackling burst symbolized both hope and renewal. The sounds echoed through the city, a salute to their resilience, a promise that darkness had met its match. In that moment, as the stars began to grace the expansive sky, Marcel and Elise understood that their legacy, their enduring commitment to foster understanding and healing, would carry forward beyond their years, illuminating a path for future generations to navigate. And so, beneath the shimmering stars and, amid shared joy, they embraced a profound truth. What began from sorrow had evolved into an unsaqueable community, dedicated to igniting hope and love, forever honoring the memory of those gone too soon. For in the heart of New Orleans, they had discovered not only a healing but the unwavering light of possibility, an affirmation that love persists, and together they could overcome any shadow cast upon their lives. As the final echoes of laughter and celebration shimmered in the air, Marcel and Elise exchanged glances filled with an understanding deeper than words. The community had forged a bond that transcended tragedy, intertwining their lives in a tapestry of resilience and shared stories. Each face in the crowd told a tale of survival, of love, of compassionate connection. As the stars twinkled above, illuminating the city of New Orleans, they found solace in the knowledge that their journey, marked by both artache and courage, had not only transformed their lives but had also sparked a movement that would flourish beyond their immediate circles. The voices of the young activists, the narratives of families, and the shared memories of the past now resided in the heart of the community, reinforcing the notion that every story matters. They had become custodians of hope, determined to ensure that each child's laughter rang free amidst understanding, empathy, and care. And with that, amid the brilliant fireworks lighting the night sky, they stood together, united under a canopy of shared dreams. Canoeing that through their journey, they had carved out a legacy that echoed far beyond the shadows of the past. In the vibrant streets of New Orleans, where love met resilience and new dawn awaited. The seeds of change planted firmly in their hearts promised to blossom into a future where darkness would meet its light, where compassion would reign, and where the spirit of community would forever thrive.